Welcome to the Be the Exception educational series. We're going to jump right into something that, well, it affects every single one of us, our careers.
All right, I want you to really think about this for a second. What are you qualified to do? What does your resume say? That one piece of paper that's supposed to sum up your entire professional life. What's it really say about you?
Okay, so what if I told you that none of that actually matters? I know, that sounds like a crazy thing to say, but the story we're about to dig into is some pretty wild, real-world proof.
So get a load of this career path. We start out 28 years ago selling water filters. Then, just 5 years later, building a TV network. A few years after that, founding an internet media company. Then magazine publisher. And then a New York Times best-selling author. Now here's the kicker, the thread that ties all of this together. For every single one of those jobs, he had zero experience. No training, no qualifications, nothing. Each one was a massive leap of faith.
You see, this story isn't just some one-off thing. It's a preview of the new reality we are all living in when it comes to our careers. The old rules, yeah, they just don't apply anymore.
I mean, think about it. It feels like a fairy tale now, right? Once upon a time, you'd work for one company your whole life, get a gold watch and retire with a pension. Honestly, the word pension sounds as old-fashioned as a rotary phone. But today, it's a whole different ballgame. We're talking about working for companies that haven't even been invented yet, using skills we don't even know we need. That stable career ladder we all heard about, it's gone. It's been replaced by this constant, almost dizzying need to reinvent ourselves.
And this quote right here, it just hits you, doesn't it? Most people will be working for companies over the next 10 years that today don't even exist. Just let that sink in. The company that could be your future, it might not even be a thought in someone's head yet. The scale of this change is just, it's huge, and it's happening at lightning speed.
So, what does this all mean for you and me? Well, here's the bottom line. To survive in the 21st century, forget thriving, just to survive, you have to get really, really comfortable with being uncomfortable. You've got to be willing to constantly do what you've never done before.
Okay, so that sounds a little scary, right? How in the world do you actually do that? Well, the good news is there's a roadmap, a field-tested framework, actually. So let's break down the 5 keys to reinventing yourself.
Okay, so here's the whole toolkit at a glance. First, leverage your strengths. Then, figure out what truly exhilarates you. Third, be willing to take a step back. Fourth, watch out for the naysayers. And finally, build your support team. We're going to start with those first 2 because they're all about looking inside.
Right, so first things first, you got to look inward. Key number 1 is all about leveraging your strengths. What are those unique gifts you have, the things that feel super easy and fun for you, but other people struggle with? Key number 2 is finding what exhilarates you. And look, let's forget the word passion for a second. It's so overused. Instead, ask yourself this. What is your obsession? What's that thing you do where you totally lose all track of time? That's where the real energy is. All right, key number 3. This one's all about your mindset. Look, even if you know your strengths, jumping into a completely new field, well, it takes some humility. You have to be willing to adopt what we call the apprentice mindset. That means you're okay with taking a step back, maybe even starting from the bottom, to really learn and study a new field. Find a mentor, someone who's already where you want to be. Be patient, and most of all, be teachable. Nothing great happens overnight, right?
Okay, so we've talked about the internal work, but what about the external challenges? This quote really nails it. Change frightens most people. And here's the thing. When you decide to change, when you decide to reinvent yourself, that fear, it doesn't just stay with them. It gets projected right back onto you, usually from the people closest to you.
And that brings us to our last 2 keys, which are basically 2 sides of the same coin. First, you've got to be wary of the naysayers. These might be friends, family, people who, whether they mean to or not, will try to hold you back. And why? A lot of the time, it's because your courage to change shines a spotlight on their own inaction. So to fight that, you have to actively, intentionally build your support team. Find those mentors, those allies, those friends who share your ambition. They're the ones who will create the environment you need to actually grow.
So, if there's one thing to remember from all this, it's that reinvention isn't a one-and-done deal. It's not some finish line you cross and then you're set for life. No, it's a constant, never-ending journey of growth and becoming who you were always meant to be.
But this journey of growth, it's not just about your career, is it? It's about your whole life. And as you grow, you're going to run into challenges with people. So let me ask you something a bit more personal. Have you ever been slighted?
by another person? Ever been really hurt by something someone said or did?
You know what I'm talking about. A colleague who threw you under the bus, a partner who is unfaithful, a parent who is just relentlessly critical. Those wounds, man, they can fester. They can leave you with these really deep, lasting feelings of anger, bitterness, maybe even a desire for revenge that just eats you up inside.
It's a battle, for sure, but it's one that plays out inside you, not with them. So next time on Be the Exception, we're going to dive into a really powerful way to deal with all of that. I really hope you'll join me as we learn how to win the grudge match.